Hal Prince is turning 90 today. The storied Broadway producer and director, a key player in everything from Fiddler on the Roof and West Side Story to Sweeney Todd and The Phantom of the Opera, has won 21 Tony Awards, more than anyone else in history. To mark the occasion, he sat down with Jeffrey Seller, the lead producer of Hamilton, to discuss his career, and the resulting 3-hour interview, The Hal Prince Talks, is being released in parts starting today on SiriusXM. Here are 6 tidbits that caught our ears. 1. No Times Square for him. Mr. Prince has worked in Rockefeller Center for 70 years, moving around the Art Deco complex. I have never worked in any other office building, he said. I'm totally spoiled, because it's the center of the universe. 2. Setting the stage. On Saturday afternoons as a child he would listen to broadcasts of the Metropolitan Opera and stage them himself in a box at home. I had a cardboard stage and some tin soldiers from the Five and Dime, and I'd listen to the plot and then move the soldiers around while they were singing on the stage of the Met, he said. Since they were always singing in a foreign language, which I didn't speak, my first act would end sometimes before the first act at the Met, and sometimes they'd say "and the great golden curtain has just closed," and I was still in the middle of the first act. 3. The first musical he saw on Broadway? White Horse Inn, starring Kitty Carlisle, in 1936 or 1937. He grew up in New York, and his parents took him to the theater weekly. His first play? Julius Caesar, starring Orson Welles, around the same time. What in hell my parents were doing, taking me to that, I don't know. At the age of 8 or 9. 4. Reining in Ambition. At 14, he said, I had a nervous breakdown. The ambition thing was so strong, and I don't quite know why, but I do know I was talking to myself, walking in the park, and I knew I was getting into the fantasy of what my career would be too much. He rebounded, but when he got his first job, with the famed producer George Abbott, everybody liked me, but they also seemed to back off a little when I came into a room. Mr. Prince's solution? I took my desk calendar, and I wrote for 1 year, at the top of it, "Watch it," he said. It helped me calm down a little. 5. That would be the sweetest thing of all. The Broadway show that has paid over 3,000% to its initial investors? Fiddler. That's pretty amazing, he said. But Phantom has exceeded that now. 6. The MC in Cabaret was his idea. His own experience serving in the army in Stuttgart, Germany, inspired him to add the character to the 1966 musical, which he directed and produced. The musical was adapted from a Christopher Isherwood story, and became a movie in 1972. I had hung out in a club called Maxim's in the basement of a bombed-out church, and there was a little MC with lipstick and eyeshadow and false eyelashes, and he'd tell terrible tacky jokes. And there were 3 very chunky girls in butterfly costumes dancing around him, and 1 drunk at the bar, and 1 drunk asleep at the table, and me in uniform, just thinking I'd been reborn and gone to heaven. This is it.